just to tell a little about the background of Kingsbury High School and what makes it so special. Well, Kingsbury High School began its life as two separate schools. There was the Tylers Croft Boys and Girls County Secondary School, and it opened on the lower school site in 1952. And the Kingsbury County Grammar School became Kingsbury County Grammar in 1954, although it had had a school on that site before then. And in 1967, Kingsbury High School joined together. The lower school and the upper school became one in 1967 when our school was launched. And to this day we try and remember that Tylers Croft existed, because the letters Kingsbury obviously come from Kingsbury, H for high, and the TC are to remember the Tylers and the Croft names of the school.
Kingsbury's been fairly unusual in that it hasn't had many head teachers. The first headmaster, Mr. Jones, was in fact the headmaster of Kingsbury County Grammar, and he was head teacher when the schools joined together, so although he served as a head teacher for a long time, he was only actually headmaster of Kingsbury High School for 3 years. Mr. Mitchell came next in 1970 and served all the way through till 1988 for 18 years, and that's the longest serving head teacher that Kingsbury's ever had. That was followed by Mr. Snell, who originally was a teacher at the school and went off to be headmaster of Preston Manor, and then returned to his old school, Kingsbury, from 1988 to 2001. Then came Mr. Chung, who was a deputy head at Kingsbury, and he served for 8 years. And finally, we have Mr. Waxman, who is currently the headmaster. And in 2012 we were very pleased to welcome back Mr. Mitchell, just to see the school and to join us on the day that we had our Olympiad.
So, Tylers Croft County Secondary Boys and Girls School. It was in two distinct halves. And you'll recognise the building from above from Google Earth. At one end we have the Tylers Hall, and at the other end we have the Croft Hall, based on the names of the school. And right down the middle, in the old days, the boys' school and the girls' school was run as two completely separate parts. No boy or girl were ever allowed to cross that red line into the other half of the school.
And we're up on the roof of Tylers, somewhere on the English corridor in the quiet garden. And from the roof, of course, we can look right the way across the field, get a great view of the back of the Princess Avenue building. And of course it's when we're up here we can really see just how much green land around the school there is. We really are very lucky with the amount of parkland, grounds and gardens that we have. Many schools have none at all, and just look out there at the fantastic grass and grounds, trees and everything else that we have. We're really very lucky at the school. And if I walk back to the back of Tylers, of course, you know, not a bad size of playground, but yet again, if you look out beyond our playing fields and so on, our school must be the envy of many. And our new block, of course, some in the upper school, they will hardly have seen that, and the boys' gym, and of course the technology block and the covered way, which has only been in the school for about 5 years when they refurbished the block.
And now we come to the past students. Well, Kingsbury's had a massive number of students pass through it. 13,500 students have passed through Kingsbury from the time that it opened, and that we reckon has over 20,000 parents obviously remember Kingsbury with affection, because their children mostly all passed through with great success, and they've gone on to the most amazing range of careers. We even have, of course, some students who returned to work at Kingsbury High School. I wonder if you know how many have returned and are currently in 2013-14 working at the school. Now, talking of famous old boys, I wonder if you know where this is. Have you ever noticed it as you moved around the lower school site? That's where it is. It's just outside the staff room on the wall above the lockers. Well, if you look in the bottom corner of the London Zoo picture, you'll see that the initials C. Watts.
Charlie Watts is the drummer with the Rolling Stones, a legendary band who are still going today. And then we have
I don't know its destination.
And for a while we had a student called Georgios Panagiotou, better known to you and me as George Michael, and he obviously remembers the school with affection.
And I remember my first day at school, and I remember trouble, thinking I was so cool. I remember it all, oh yeah, like yesterday.
And finally we had the Courtney Klein, the world-renowned jazz saxophonist. Then in 1997 we had a very exciting visit.
Now I have much pleasure in launching the Royal website, and I hope you all enjoy seeing and using the site.
Her Majesty has a few words with some of the pupils who've been waiting patiently at the front of the school. Finally, Her Majesty grants the staff and pupils of Kingsbury High a day's holiday before leaving in the royal car.
I knew he wouldn't remember me.
Well, I'm keeping out of his way.
You won't have to. The size of this place, you'll probably never see him again. There, then.
Haven't I called your name?
But it's also the staff that make Kingsbury High School. We have some very long-serving teachers. I wonder if you can recognise anyone in this photograph. Mr. Langton, Mr. Long hiding away at the back, Mr. Knox, Mr. Nilsson, who left last year, and me, Mr. Jamieson, still with hair on. If we move on to the other end of the staff, can you see any staff there that you recognise? How about Mr. Slater in the days that he had a beard? Or Mrs. Brown? Or Mrs. Newsom? And now let's have a look at the upper school. Here we are on the Princess Avenue site, and we're in the main K hall looking down towards the stage. And here we are today. Changed the lighting, but the actual hall and the panelling and the wood very much the same as it was then. Looking down the other end of the hall, it was used as a dining hall in those days, and you can even see where the hatch at the back is open, where the dinner ladies would serve the dinners. Fascinating to see that they had tablecloths on the tables. And here we are today looking in the same direction towards the balcony, and currently we're holding exams.
We should be able to see the poor sixth form all doing their exams sitting in the hall. So next time you sit in the hall and you look up, you'll see a grill in the ceiling and realise that there is a hole going right the way through into the loft. However, if we carry on along the walkway, we come to the base of the tower. Great big timber beams holding up the tower. So let's climb up inside. Oh, and if you don't know which tower I'm talking about, that's the one I'm talking about, the green dome. It's made of copper on the outside, and inside it's all timber. So I'm now climbing up inside. Here we go. Not the easiest place to get into, I have to admit. But the views from up here are absolutely fantastic. So let's have a look round. Views over the roof of Kingsbury. I've lost a window at the back here due to storms. That's room 74. And we can see right the way up onto Harrow and then all down Princes Avenue. Fantastic views from up here. And then you'll see that there are graffitis from students. They used to come up here, 1956 is that? 1975. Master R. Darling, whoever he was. Michael Hart's 1990 is that? Williams 1944. So it's like a historical archive of students who used to sneak up into the tower. You can't do it anymore because it's locked away. And they even used to have the entire group of prefects make little shields and have them mounted up into the tower. These are the senior prefects from 1965. And then finally, of course, I discovered this rather fun piece of fact, that one of the naughtiest students in the school managed to get up here and sign his name. So it'll be there forever. 1993 to 1994, Sandip Das. I wonder who that is.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed that brief tour of some of the places in the lower and upper school and the hidden parts. And now it's your turn to build the story of the school. Go forward into the world and add to the history of Kingsbury High School, and remember, be judged by your actions or spectuma agendo. Good luck.